right. I'm gonna try to share this out real quick.
I will do that as well.
We are live.
You know,
I'll talk about it. It's another anniversary of something. We'll talk about like where you've been, where you were.
where I've been, where I am.
Shit. Get off the Twitter space. Get off the email. Bink bop a boop. Let's rock and roll. College basketball starts tonight, according to Scoop. Yes, it does. We'll talk about it. Is it March Madness yet? Anyway, ready, Coach?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Chop Sports Daily right here on the Chop Sports Podcast Network. Of course, your hosts, Sturch and Gooch. Gooch coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy Studios. Sturch, myself, coming to you live from the Dave Cave up north. So I'll be here for pretty much the remainder of the week. But anyway, it's been 24 hours. I hope everything's okay with the fish. Are we good with the burial and the fish? We've got a lot of feedback, I
Yeah,
don't know
dude,
if
it was
anybody sent cards to your house. Like
very somber afternoon at the Gucci Nila residence. There was just an empty fish bowl. Just still water, still honestly,
God.
bro, it's bikini bottom in a little fish tank. So he had the hookup. It wasn't like this fish was struggling, he got fed probably too much. It's probably why he's dead. But yeah, the fish was happy, but now I'm sad because we just got this empty fish tank with the filter still going. This morning I went to feed him, and then I realized, wait, baby's dead. So there's nobody to feed.
Poor fish.
But besides that, I'm just gonna let everybody know I will be adjusting the lighting because I am wearing my flesh-colored hoodie, and I cannot tell the difference between my pale pasty skin and my sweatshirt. So it's really getting uncomfortable for me on this end.
It's been fall for 4 minutes. And you just lost every ounce of complexion that you've had.
We also work in a studio where we cover the windows, and I don't even have windows where I live. It's a very bleak situation for me going into the fall. As much as I love it, my skin falls off. I start getting that winter skin. It's just going to be bad. I'm like a White Walker. You ever see Game of Thrones?
That's me. Great. So there was a couple things that went down over the weekend that we kind of not brushed over, but like definitely something we wanted to touch on before we get into the rest of the shenanigans that was Monday Night Football. First and foremost, it is Nilvember after all, NIL-vember. We put out a nice little post yesterday for some of our athletes, including Anthony Pecorella, Sean Dykes, Josh Chandler, Semedo, guys that have been with us since jump, since we decided to do this whole chop athlete thing. But one of our studs did work over the weekend, and that guy being the Paz. The Paz is back. Rutgers Wrestling is back. And in a quad meet, how many matches did he win? Like, what is that?
Paz is now 3-0 on the season. There wasn't really, Rutgers completely dominated. I think they won 27 out of a possible 30 matches altogether throughout their 3 meets that they had. But Paz, he had a nice showing, we'll call it. He had a major decision. He had a pin, which was a fall in wrestling, a pin. And then he won 7-1, which I would imagine that guy that lost 7-1 probably had the match of his entire life. And he's going to go home and brag about only having lost 7-1 to the king. Really.
Are there spreads in wrestling or not?
I honestly don't even get me started because I hope not. I don't think that there is. If anything, maybe team wrestling spreads, but I don't know that you could bet on individual matches. And definitely can't on BetMGM because you can't even bet on Rutgers football, let alone.
Yeah, it's true. Being in New Jersey, New Jersey, that is a thing. We can't bet on New Jersey sports. But I will ask you this again with Rutgers Wrestling: is there a preseason or they just go in and go?
No, they're in. They're in. I don't know what. Look, wrestling. There is no off season in wrestling. So preseason, off season, it doesn't really matter. We've been talking to Paz. He's been hard at it. Every time I talk to Paz, he's like, all right, I'm leaving practice now, or I'm leaving camp now. He's honestly the hardest working guy that I know. And look, I can't wait. We got to get out to a match. By the way, I take the Paz on the money line all day. All right. I'm laying the -1,000 on the pause all day.
So we will go to the Jersey Mike's rack, right? Is that like official? Jersey Mike's is now the official
The
sponsor of the
Jersey
rack.
Mike's Arena, and it is no longer the rack. But could you imagine ever actually saying to somebody, "I'm going to Jersey Mike's Arena"? We're going to the rack,
Yeah,
right?
it's going to be the rack forever. Just like Giant Stadium's always going to be Giant Stadium. Nobody calls it MetLife. You know what I mean? Unless you're just weird like that. But all right, pause is back, man. I'm excited. We're excited. Rutgers wrestling on the map already. And look, and I said it on our on our Instagram, which is about 12 followers away from 1,000. So if you're listening to the sound of my voice, go look up Chop Sports Media on Instagram. I said it in the quotation. I said, Paz is coming for everything this year. Like, he is coming for the national title. He wants that. He's done, the All-American thing's behind him. He's already done the All-American thing. Now it's time to be a national champion. And I think Paz has a great opportunity to do that this year. And we're really excited that he's along with
Oh,
us for the ride. So
be on
we're
the
along
lookout for the new Paz t-shirts and new Paz apparel that's going to be out hopefully by the end of the week. If not by the end of this week, then definitely early next week. There's going to be some new Paz merch out on the Chop Sports shop. So head over there, chopsportsmedia.com. Click on merch and go buy and support your boy Paz.
Yes. So Paz off to a great start. Last night, according to sources, there was a 7-point spread that I didn't cover. But it is okay. I mean, we round out the week 9, which, by the way, I labeled yesterday's podcast that we wrapped up week 10, which I'm just putting a fast forward button on the NFL season. But week 9 is wrapped up. The Steelers take out the Bears 29-27. The Steelers now 5-3, and the Bears seem to have lost their way as they fall to 3-6. Your takeaways right away before we get into the nitty gritty, because there's a lot of controversy going on in this game in particular within one player. But as far as the game is concerned, was there things about Justin Fields that now I know you're a Packer fan, so you think Justin Fields sucks as a person?
Well, I mean, like, to be real, I mean, I'm rooting against the kid because of my fanhood. But do I think Justin Fields has potential? Yes. I don't think he's ever going to be really that great of a passer because I don't think you could teach accuracy. But as far as what my game takeaways are, forget about the Justin Fields thing. Najee Harris is the real deal. I know that he didn't get much going yesterday, but just watching him and seeing what he does to people, how they bounce off of him, it's effortless for him. And to me, he's elite. He's going to be one of those special players if he could stay healthy. Big Ben is hard to watch. Just through and through. I think Big Ben is just it's hard to watch Big Ben play football at this point. And somehow or another, he's like still managing to protect the football. But the obvious takeaway is that, as usual, and specifically in these primetime games, and I hate to agree with Mr. Jimmy Palumbo, but the refs are really ruining these games for me, man. Like, it's just getting really difficult.
Yeah, one of our first comments that came in right here is Scoop Espo saying, at least there were no bad calls. So obviously he's being sarcastic. There was a lot of crap last night. And my first question, being that it was a 2-point win and the Steelers kind of escaped this one with a win, do you feel like the Bears got robbed here? Like, overall, general, like, I feel like that yellow flag, the terrible towel was in the pocket.
We're going to get to the controversial call about how we're going to get to that one, but there's more things all game. When you just look at this disparity in penalty totals, I think the Steelers were only penalized 4 times. The Bears were like 13 or 14 times. To be completely honest, I don't think that there's ever going to be an NFL game that it's that lopsided. It's honestly a lot of times the refs just picking and choosing when they're going to throw these flags.
Right.
But the thing that stuck out to me the most, more so than the hip check, which we will get to, was the fact that they called that illegal block where the guy didn't even hit anybody, A, and B, he was definitely inside the tackle box, if you want to call it that. The same thing that they would kind of use for intentional grounding. The linemen have to abide by the same thing when it comes to hitting people low. And it took a touchdown off the board at the most crucial time possible. I think that was as much of an effect on the outcome of the game than the hip check. But yeah, man, the Bears definitely got robbed. I hate to admit it, but I'll take it because I picked the Bears.
I hate when the referees dictate the game. Obviously, look, there's going to be call. I'll tell you right now, I am team, like, don't blame the refs, blame yourselves always. Like, I'm just like, yeah, that call sucked, but you should have done this.
I'm team don't blame the refs unless it's my team taking the L.
So
Yeah.
here's what we were talking about. Now, this was the call. It's on your screen. We'll dictate it as it goes. So our boy here, Marsh, gets called up from the practice squad today, like the game of, right? And he's in there now. He makes a massive play on third down to force a 4th and 15, in which that could have been literally a game changer. Everybody knows it. Anybody with a brain knows it. I don't care if you're a Steeler fan, Bears fan, you knew it. If this play stood, it would have dictated a lot more and a lot different of an outcome, I think. So now Marsh is sitting there on the screen. You see him. He's just staring at the sidelines. One, I don't buy that you should be doing that. You got to know a little better than that. However, Tony Correnti, who is infamous for loving the spotlight, he loves the spotlight. We've seen this time and time again. On the right of your screen, you see Marsh trying to get off the field, and Tony Correnti extends his hips, his right hip, to basically hip check him. And look, if you can see it on the screen, he's already got his hand on his flag. He is ready to throw this thing. So I don't understand. And there's our boy right there.
That's the reason why he threw the flag. If I knew that this guy looked that way, I wouldn't have been so upset about the call, because just seeing him, I'd be like, oh, he's getting penalized for that. He looks like a failed SoundCloud rapper that, honestly, it looks like he's probably had something up his sleeve where he just got cut by the Steelers, I believe. So it was his former team. So maybe they sent him over there to commit the penalty, and he looks like a little sneaky guy, a failed SoundCloud rapper. So maybe there was some collusion here, but I just had to throw that in there because I was like, who is this guy? I was trying to come up with a rap name for him and I couldn't. So I just put, because that's a questionable look, but
that's his official name. I will say this, as far as that, I don't like the action of the referees almost looking like they're getting excited to throw a penalty flag. And that's exactly what we got last night. There was like 3 fingers on it, ready to launch it. And he launched it in that, somebody quoted this way on Twitter, that he was looking like he just hit, like, that was like his bat flip, right? Like that was his bang, just throw it up in the air.
Look, he shouldn't have done it because you can't gesture towards the sidelines. I understand the reason why they made the call. I just don't like the fact that the call, I think you should be allowed to call taunting calls up until the 4th quarter, or like not on third and long or 4th and long. Like there's certain points in the game where it's like you can't have the ref interject his opinion into the game. It's not like he broke a rule that it's called every time. And it's like, oh, he grabbed him and he held. No, it's like it's a judgment call on the refs, and it's changing the outcome of a game directly. It's not like an indirect thing. It's right there. The ball possession is getting changed. If there's points or a change of possession, you really, really have to be really sure that there was some malice behind what was being done.
This is where I look at this and I say to myself, wait a minute, hold on. So this is a penalty, right? Staring at the opposing sidelines and kind of flexing on them a little bit, saying like, yeah, I just made the play. And then obviously the Tony Correnti thing, which is whatever. But bro, every single turnover, they have a team of 11 guys run to the opposite end zone and pose for a picture in front of the camera. That's not taunting. That's not something that everybody gets mad at because it's
First of all, I love that.
Universal.
I love that. It gives it gives the league, it gives the players a chance. And should taunting calls become a fine other than a penalty? That's from our boy Jack, loyal Ravens fan. It should definitely be a fine. It should not affect the outcome of the game at all. Period. Point blank. The end. Look, these are all grown men. They're getting paid a lot of money. There's emotion. It's an emotional game. You're already asking a lot, and we could talk about this too, because it's actually a good point where we had a situation in the NBA yesterday where a guy, where Joker got clipped from behind by Markieff Morris, and everybody's complaining because it was a cheap shot, and then Joker, I guess when Morris turned his back, Joker went after him and knocked him down. Now, to me, that's basketball. There was a cheap little dirty foul. One guy took exception to it, and he attacked him. Right. This is I'd rather see that than I don't even know where I'm going with it, but I just think that everybody is expecting things to go a certain type of way while complaining about how soft the league is. It's like you want the 80s and 90s basketball, and then you're going to talk shit about the Joker for having a dirty play. I just don't understand what the people want at this point. Same thing with you, Dave. I don't understand why you don't want the celebrations down the end zone. I think it's
because
great for
it's so dumb, bro. If you all right, you
bro.
could celebrate in the end zone if you score a touchdown.
Do you know what's
That's
great about
it.
it though? Do you know that's the thing? The defensive team, I think, doesn't get an opportunity. There's so much going against them. They can't celebrate. They can't do anything. They can't hit the quarterback. They can't touch the receivers. They don't get to score the touchdowns the way the offense do. And I think what they're doing is allowing them to have their moment where, like, what's their biggest play? A turnover, right? Offense biggest play is a touchdown. So they're giving them their version of that. And honestly, it's great for my wallpaper on my backdrop. So I don't mind it because I love getting the pictures of these guys.
Yeah, no, I get that part of it because they don't get the score and yada. I mean, it reminds me of like the intro of Basketball. Did you ever see that movie where like all of a sudden they're like the celebrations, they all get in a line and they're just like dancing around and shit? I'm like, this is so dumb. As far as the Joker is concerned, right? That right there, that is like an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman. After something goes down, the play's over. One guy shoves one, the other guy comes back, shoves another. That should be it. When the next guy throws the punch, then you can throw the flag.
Then you saw fucking the dog come out and Jimmy Butler, and he was doing that for show. Like, I don't think that anybody's trying to actually fight in the NBA. And honestly, I'm not fucking with the Joker because he's a 7-foot like Serbian dude, right? So, do you really want to go after him? Did you see his brothers in the postseason last year in the stands fighting with anybody and everybody that had a bad word to say about the Joker? There's like 4 7-footers. And
who do you think would win in a fight? Who do you think would win in a fight? The Joker's siblings against one-on-one. Let's just take one sibling, one-on-one versus the Sons and Four guy.
Oh, the Sons and Four guy is dead. But I'll tell you what, the Morris twins, because Marquise and Marcus, I think that they're both kind of antagonists in the NBA. And he tweeted something like, "Oh, Joker, you come after me when my back is turned." Noted. It's like, well, you had the first cheap shot. What do you expect? You want him to square up with you in the NBA? He didn't. And also, if LeBron James laid on the ground as long as Markieff Morris did from a fucking hip check, then there would be memes across the globe talking about how soft LeBron was. Now, Morris is a known tough guy, and he was writhing in pain. Noted.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
Noted.
Yeah, I mean,
all right. So not really afraid of you now, bro. Not doing a great job.
All your street cred just went out the shitter right there. That is dunzo. But yeah, so again, getting back to the Bears game. Now looking back, are the Bears I'll start with the Steelers actually. With this win, they kind of get over on one, right? And the Steelers fans are excited and they're better. They're better now than they were before. Do you think they can give a run in that AFC North with the Ravens? I mean, like, or is that just like if you're barely escaping over the Bears, can you make a run?
They can make a run because as the season gets deeper and deeper and it gets colder and colder, it lends to the Steelers' style of football. I don't know how Big Ben's going to hold up because I know they have they have an easy matchup. I wouldn't say easy matchup coming up, but then things get a little rough for Pittsburgh going forward. They got a tough division, like we mentioned, but yeah, they're right in the thick of it, man. What about other than Baltimore, who they're clearly to me the team to beat in the North right now, but even Baltimore, they're showing kinks in their armor. Whereas it takes a late fourth quarter game against Indianapolis, and then this past week they were getting pasted the entire game too. So there is some issues defensively for them. Pittsburgh, the rivalry game, yeah, I think Pittsburgh has a legitimate chance to, I wouldn't say win the division, but threaten for the division.
I could so see that too. I mean, we can't discredit Cleveland and we can't discredit Cincinnati, even though you think Cincinnati is going to kind of fall back to earth within the next few weeks. But we'll talk about the Browns after the break. But yeah, I mean, look, the Steelers are on the uptick. The Bears, on the other hand, Justin Fields has some flashes of really good play, and he really knows how to extend a couple plays. But like guys like TJ Watt, he is just all world, bro. Like Justin Fields is probably the fastest quarterback in the NFL right now. Maybe. I would say he's up there, right? TJ Watt still getting to him is just incredible to me. Like TJ Watt is officially, and this is, I'm calling how I see it. It's not bold. I don't think it's a bold take. TJ Watt's better than JJ.
Right now, definitely. I wouldn't go as far as to say he's going to have a better career, but he's definitely on his way. Are you ready for this little tidbit? The Packers drafted Kevin King over TJ Watt.
The Dallas Cowboys drafted Taco Charlton over TJ Watt, and now Taco Charlton is on the Steelers. So how
And
about
they
that?
play the same position, so that's brutal. It's not like
Brutal. Knowing that
how did you assess that wrong? Like how did you look at the two players and be like, Taco's better than TJ? No, 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 no.
the resident Bears connoisseur Jamie Silverberg, greatness, Dave, say it. Flashes of greatness. Okay, so he wants me to say that there's flashes of greatness coming from Justin Fields. Look, get this kid some receivers, get him some time, get him a better offensive line, and I
I
think
think
that
he
there
has
could be
good
something good
receivers.
there.
I think what it comes down to with Justin Fields right now is, first of all, he's definitely way too young to be great at this point, considering where his skill set is and the head coach that he has. If he had a good head coach, then I wouldn't really factor in the age as much. But Matt
Yeah.
Nagy is a bum.
He's the devil. All right, let's take a break because I know there's a question that's in the comments right now. Let's take a quick break. We'll pay some bills here. We're going to come back. We're going to talk all about OBJ right now because I think there's some breaking news as we're recording, or at least there's something new going on with the OBJ situation. So let us take a break. We'll come right back.
Myself and Gooch are both getting a little older. One of the first things to go is your vision. Thank goodness for our hookup over at Absolute Eyewear in Woodbridge, New Jersey, right on Main Street next to the train station. They have glasses for all ages, all budgets. They have safety glasses, sports glasses. They are a full-service powerhouse offering eye exams and even free lenses for the kids. They work with BCBS, AAA, AARP, giving massive discounts. They're open 5 days a week, closed on Wednesdays and Sundays. Call 732-326-3937 to get your first pair of Ray-Ban, Burberry, Coach, Polo, you name it, they got it. Go see Craig and Johnine right now.
Shout out to Johnine and Craig over at Absolute Eyewear. I will shout them out because A, apparently there's a gift at the studio for me for my new son. And B, Janine getting a couple nice dubs last night with the Knicks getting a win and also the Rangers getting a win. How about, I know, Gooch, this is where you kind of tune out and kind of fade and drift off into the sunset because we're talking hockey. But the Rangers just beat a 10-0 Florida Panthers team. So come get some, New York. How about them Rangers? But all right, so there is some news, not so much breaking news because there's no actual thing, but according to Scoop Espo, resident, I don't even know what the hell we call him, eventual podcast host, Odell waiver announcement at 4 o'clock. What team do you think? So now he's saying announcement. Now, does that mean a team claimed him and now there's no release of who it is until 4? Or does that mean like nobody claimed him and something's going to happen at 4 o'clock? So basically what I'm thinking is, before we get into the specifics,
Before we get into it, I want to know one thing. Where'd the headline come from that there's going to be an announcement at 4? ESPN?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
So it's probably nothing. It's probably they're going to announce that at 4 o'clock, nobody picked him up. And
we'll find out. But if you're looking at this from a broader scale, right? If you're the owner, GM, whatever, are you team Baker or are you team Odell? I'll give it to you first because I know exactly where I'm going with this.
Honestly, if I had to pick, I would be like, I think you could just kick me in the nuts and I take neither because I dislike both of these guys wholeheartedly. I mean, in this situation, it's team Baker because Odell is so wrong. There's really like you signed a contract. You're not good at football anymore. You expect to get the ball even though you're not open. It's really not in the Browns' offensive scheme to even throw the ball anymore. I don't think they got the two-headed monster. I know Kareem Hunt's hurt, but yeah, Baker's a team guy. I don't like him. I don't like his attitude. There's a lot that I dislike about Baker Mayfield, but I don't think he's a bad teammate. And I do think Odell is a bad teammate. So
you don't think Baker's a bad teammate?
Yeah, I don't like Baker Mayfield. His attitude, the way he goes about everything, just annoys me. But I don't think he's a bad teammate. I can't say that about him. I think he lays it on the line for his team. He's a tough guy. He plays hard. Odell, I think he's a quitter. I think he quits on his team. So in terms of team Baker or team Odell, it's a no-brainer. Kick me in the nuts. But in this situation, it's team Baker.
My only thing is, what goes through the mind of right now, a GM of a team to say like, oh, Odell's available. Let's give him a shot. What on his resume, honestly, let's be honest about this. What on his resume, besides the one-handed catch against Dallas, in which they lost that game, the Giants lost that game, what is on the resume of Odell Beckham Jr. that makes you think this guy would be a good addition to your current squad? You can't say skill set. You can't say that anymore because I guarantee you every team in the NFL has one or two receivers better than Odell Beckham Jr. right now. That's where I'm at with this, okay? You saw Peoples-Jones running down the field last week, okay? So Odell Beckham Jr. is a headache. What team would say, yes, we want to give you $7.25 million and claim you? I am 1,000% team Baker Mayfield. Look, I know that Baker Mayfield also does boohoo Baker a lot. I think that when things are not going right for him, you see him pouting, you see him just a little upset. You see that a lot, and I've said this before on past podcasts. You see that a lot in these younger quarterbacks, this new generation of quarterbacks. When things aren't going right, they look like, just don't bother me. I don't want to talk to anybody. Leave me alone. Okay, like that's the kind of guy I think Baker is. I even think Patrick Mahomes is that way. When things aren't going right.
Oh, Aaron Rodgers is the biggest baby on the planet Earth when he's getting sacked and there's guys in his face
say this though,
bitching and moaning, but I don't mind that.
I'm not trying to toot the horn of Dak Prescott, but I've never seen him boohoo on the sidelines. I always see him kind of general. But anyway, this is about Baker and Odell. I am so team Baker, despite all the boohoo stuff that Baker does when he's not, it's not having the game of his life. Odell Beckham Jr. has done nothing for nobody to warrant that contract, even if he becomes a free agent, right? If he clears waivers, which, by the way, I was wrong. I thought for whatever reason there was some kind of structure where he wouldn't be able to play in 2022. That's something I did read. I'm not saying I made that out of thin air. I thought I saw that he'll become a free agent in 2022.
I thought when you said that, I smoked too much that day, and I was like, wait, and I didn't even comment on it. But in my head, I wanted to text you yesterday, but I think the big deal. Like, don't you love that about certain people when they love to be the one to tell you that you fucked up?
Oh,
it's like, no, Dave, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah, no, Craig is infamous for that. Whatchamacallit? And this is brought up by Scott. Scott Salmons over on doing ISS right now over at Woodbridge High School. He's basically saying like Odell's dad gets involved. This is like the Ball family. That's why I can never get behind any of these Ball guys. I think they're all annoying.
Stop. Look, the father has calmed down a lot, but there's nothing wrong with the Ball family. There's some ballers in that Ball family. No pun intended.
Fine. But Mr. Ball, Dad Ball, get off the camera. There's no reason for you to be around right now. Zero. And yes, according to Jamie, and I agree with this, Baker also does have way better commercials than OBJ. I haven't even seen an OBJ commercial other than like maybe Pert Plus, but
honestly, I can't agree with that. I don't think
tuning
either
in right now. AJ's tuning in. He's doing the get off my lawn type take. I guess that's what I'm doing. But no, Odell Beckham Jr. is nothing more than a flash in the pan, one trick pony, and I think his headache is not worth $1. Especially if he's doing the whole I want to go to a competitive team, right? That's his theory, dude. If he wants to go to a competitive team, right? That competitive team have to look themselves in the mirror and say, will this guy come into my locker room and ruin everything that we got?
Well, there's not many competitive teams that have the money available to claim him off waivers. I don't know that. I think Seattle does, actually. They're the one, and that is his preferred destination. He's came out and said that he would prefer to go to Seattle over any other team. He also put the 49ers on that list. I would imagine that after Sunday, he fucking quickly removed them because they are definitely not a contender, and Jimmy G is not going to be the guy. You're just going to be complaining there. But he did say that he's going to create issues for the team that signed him or claimed him off waivers if it wasn't where he wanted to go. So his agents are finessing his.
Wait. Time out. That was a thing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, unless Bleacher Report was lying, which is very, very possible. But yeah, he came out and said, look, I know where I want to go. I want to go to a contender. If a team that's not a contender claims me, then it's not going to be well. It's not going to work out well for you. So
dude, are you like that's a thing? See, right there.
I don't mind that. As you're,
what do you mean don't mind that? Are you kidding, dude?
Because if I'm released, I don't want to just go get. I don't want to go to Jacksonville because they claimed me. I'm gonna be like,
you got released because of your own actions.
Deal. Because I put it this way: if I'm so willing to just quit on my actual team, I have no problem quitting on the team that just claimed me that I don't want to go to because you already made your bed there. Do you get what I'm saying there? It's like. It's like, oh, I want it out of Cleveland, so Jacksonville is going to be better. Could you imagine going from that to Urban Meyer?
I am crossing all fingers, toes, and eyes at this point that I hope a non-contender says, we want OBJ. I want him to go to Houston. I want him to go to Jacksonville. I want him to go to Detroit.
First of all, there is a 0% chance that he's getting claimed. No team is taking that contract on when there's a guy that there's a chance that he doesn't even go there. If you claim him, then you're just screwed and you're on the hook for it.
Well,
and they don't want to take the Browns off the hook on that money.
Well, I'll ask you this. Like, if you're a team that actually covets Odell and you think that he might do good for you, right? Can you risk not claiming him? If Seattle, or he came out and said Seattle's the destination, right? Can Pete Carroll and company actually let this man go through waivers and then them not be able to get him?
Yeah,
That's a big deal.
I think the market is going to be less robust than you're going to see in the media because they're going to finesse that and try and make it seem like there's a bigger market. And I also think that there's only a handful of teams that he's even willing to go to. So I don't know that it's really that competitive in terms of, like, if you're the Seahawks, I think if you have mutual interest and you go after Odell and he clears, you're getting him. So I wouldn't put in the claim, honestly, because then you get him on your terms. The contract that you're able to work out doesn't affect you going forward. There's a lot that goes into it. So I'm not claiming a guy that's owed maybe 30 million or 40 million over the next 2 or 3 years. No.
Shout out to this guy who says Irvin was an asshole too. Yeah, Irvin's also a NFL Hall of Famer. Okay, so he had every right to do whatever the hell he wanted because he was uncoverable. This guy is not in the same class as Michael Irvin. Stop that. That is not even remotely close.
Do you know who I think is in the same class though? And I think that you'll be annoyed by this. I think Troy Aikman and Baker Mayfield are very, very, very much similar.
Who'd you say?
I think Baker Mayfield I think Troy Aikman's the most overrated quarterback in history. Arguably. Him and Terry Bradshaw.
I'm with you on that one. Troy Aikman, again, that's like the Eli argument, right? Like everybody can say, like, is Eli a Hall of Famer? And you're looking at the numbers, you're like,
I think that Emmitt Smith gets a bad rap in the sense that people blame him or blame the fact that he had an offensive line on why he was so great. I think that that's more so the case with Aikman than it is with Emmitt, right? Emmitt Smith was a great player no matter where he went. I think Aikman would have really struggled throughout his career if he wasn't behind all that talent.
Emmitt Smith kind of struggled in Arizona. The Cowboys stopped him to like
Emmitt Smith was 46 in Arizona.
I'm just saying.
All right.
People hated Deion. Like, look at you guys. Again, Deion Sanders. First of all, nice spelling. Second of all, not to knock your spelling or anything like that, but I'm on fire right now. And I don't mean to be a dick, but Deion Sanders, Hall of Famer, best cornerback to ever do it. So, like, what are we talking about here?
That sip of water was for Jimmy.
What?
Oh, I just took a sip of water for Jimmy on camera.
Oh, I don't even have water, and I'm getting dry mouth because now I'm foaming right now because people are starting to compare OBJ to these legends of the game. Like, I'm not saying it's warranted and people should be dicks or people should be headaches in the locker room. I'm telling you that you can't compare the two. You cannot compare Odell Beckham Jr. to Hall of Fame players, okay? You just can't do it because he's not on that level, and he was never on that level. He was never on that trajectory to be a Hall of Famer. Not even with the Giants, nowhere. Odell Beckham Jr. because, look how long, case in point, look how long it took Terrell Owens to get into the Hall of Fame. Period, stop. He was a dick. He was a douche, and that's why it took him forever, and he has the numbers to back it up.
I could pull up the article. I was reading it the other day. I don't know why, but I shared something in my memories on Facebook, which is always a terrible thing. But I deleted it, but I'm sure I could find it. It was an Odell Beckham Jr. article where he was talking about surpassing all of Jerry Rice's numbers.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what are we talking about
here? Since the print of that article, he's had like 16 catches, and that was 5 years ago. So, yeah, Odell.
That's not true. Look at Odell's stats first year. Sure, yeah, that first year, he looked like a legend. He was on the cover of Madden the next year. Like, they put a rocket, strapped it to his ass, and shot him to the moon, right? And then, also, you know what also shot to the moon? His head, okay? His head followed his body, and that's why you can't get behind a guy like Odell Beckham
also,
because he's
I'm going to talk all this shit about Odell right now, but if for some reason the Packers sign him, then obviously, I'm going to be talking how great he is tomorrow. So,
no, see, that will ruin. You talk about, do you really want
Do I
Kadarius
want him?
Toney will
absolutely
break
not.
all records. Oh, here we go.
I
I
absolutely
don't
do
know who
not.
you
I
are.
absolutely do not
Sign your
want
name.
Odell. That's Jimmy.
No, it's not. It would say Jimmy.
No, I think.
Wouldn't it?
Pretty sure it's Jimmy.
Oh, all right. Well, whatever the case. Anyway, enough about Odell because I'm done with Odell and I'm done with the fact that there's it is Jimmy. Okay, well then AJ's seeing it. All right, so that's Jimmy. Get our names displayed. Damn it. You know what? Get our names displayed. Talk to StreamYard, okay? Talk to StreamYard. Or you fossil, you can just click on the thing that allows your name to be shared, and then AJ's around. There's war happening right now in the chat, within the chat. Yes, very good point. Peyton Hillis was also on the cover of Matt. I remember that. Good old white running back, Peyton Hillis, who should have been a fullback. He was like Mike Allstott, a Jace.
Oh, did anybody see the new curse? Speaking of Madden covers.
Oh, the curse of the Mannings.
The curse of the Manning show. All seven, I want to say 7 or 6 players that have gone on the Manning show live have lost the following week. And there's some good teams, good all active players. So it's like the Chiefs.
Up next is the Bills.
Well, the Bills are reeling. So,
well, I will say this.
No, the Bills, that's one of them. The Bills just lost.
Oh, that's right. Monday Night Football, unwatchable when it's not the Mannings. I'm sorry. Like it's not fun to me. Louis Riddick is the worst. And you can never
Louis Riddick has jumped over Tom Brady on people that I want to fight. Like I used to want to fight Tom Brady the most out of any human on the planet, and now it's definitely Louis Riddick.
Well, Louis Riddick, first of all, I honestly can't even whatchamacall. I can't even tell the difference between who's talking. When Riddick and Greasy are talking, I don't know who's talking. Not a clue. They sound the same. They have the same points. It's just garbage. It's garbage television. When Manning and Peyton and Eli are talking, you're at least looking at both guys, so you know who's talking. But unwatchable. There is a little bit more news. What's this? Let's not listen to the show, get a beer, and learn how to. Let's not listen to the show, get a beer, and or what? I don't know. I don't even know what that is. But there's one more piece of news. Last night, more stuff out of Las Vegas, as if these guys can't get out of the news right now. There is some news that's not so bad. Desean Jackson will be going to the Las Vegas Raiders. He is another one-trick pony. He's the speed guy. He's almost just an older version of Henry Ruggs. Henry Ruggs obviously released after all the crap.
I was going to say, I definitely called this one several times last week on the show.
You did call this one, and all of a sudden I'm seeing Desean Jackson signing. Now, who's the guy that got released last night? Their other
Damon Arnett. So that's the Raiders headline. That the Raiders are back in the headlines for another shitty situation with a 2020 draft pick. Both first-round draft picks in 2020 are now released. And before we get into the Desean Jackson comment that Scoop made about him being washed, we're going to talk about what Damon Arnett is doing out there, brandishing like an Uzi and making death threats towards somebody. I couldn't really hear the video because there was a lot going on in the background. But bro, especially coming off of the situation that's going on in Vegas right now with your boy Henry Ruggs, I just don't understand what it's going to take for these players to understand like what social media, the impact of certain things in your words are going to have on the potential for your career or lack thereof in this case. And at what point are we going to start, and you made this point earlier, holding the GM accountable out in Vegas for these draft picks?
Mike Mayock, I'm getting the sniffles all of a sudden. Mike Mayock, and it's not COVID. I'm immunized. So, immunized. I can't even say the word right.
I'm good. I'm caffeinated, so I'm right. Did you see that meme?
Yeah, that's great. But anyway, Mike Mayock, the guy comes fresh off of NFL Network, right? He's doing all the analysis on all the draft picks and this and that. All of a sudden, he's hired as the GM, right? So it's like, okay, cool. This guy might know some shit, right? He might know his football players. He might know how to evaluate talent. You are failing, okay? One, your coach was your hire, and all of a sudden, he's out of the NFL. Your draft picks are in the NFL for a cup of coffee, and they're gone. What are you doing? What kind of research are you doing? This reminds me of the age-old classic movie Draft Day, okay? Which, by the way, Gooch doesn't like, I love. The movie Draft Day, they don't draft Bo Callahan because nobody went to his birthday party. Meaning, nobody likes the fucking guy, okay? So, meaning, do your research. Because
I'm pretty sure Damon
legitimate. What?
Damon Arnett had people at his birthday party because he's in the Bloods and they roll deep. So clearly he had his friends there, but we can't compare the two. First of all, draft day. I'm close to putting that on the ban list. Right? No more Kevin Costner talk on this podcast. But bro,
you haven't even watched it.
Four of the picks in their top 5 picks of the 2020 draft are no longer with the team. So that's all you need to know right there. And they got an A++ coming out of the draft in terms of talent. It just doesn't matter if you can't play football. And
right. What's the point of showing your talents if you can't get on the field?
I almost made such a bad joke.
What is actually going on in the mind of that kid with the guns? Like, what are we doing here? Like,
bro, and that is true. Look, Joe LaCory makes a great point. Crazy part is that Derek Carr is basically like a pastor. He's so religious. He's like, I haven't heard an NFL player say how much he loves his teammates more than I've heard Derek. Like, he's like, bro, Zay Jones, he's like, I'm in love with Zay. Like, all he does is work, I couldn't be happier for Zay. And he's like, when the Henry Ruggs situation happens, it's 3 a.m., bro. Right? He's like, I just wish that I would have let him know to call me when he's hammered, right? And he's got an Uzi in his trunk. I wish he would just call me because I would leave my I don't even know, bro. Does he have like 11 kids like Phil Rivers? He has to.
I would leave the church and come get you, my son. No, again,
he pulls up in like the First Baptist church van, picks up all of Damon Arnett and Henry Ruggs' blood members. All right.
It's like Dumb and Dumber. Here's some more hitchhikers. Pick them up. Like, holy shit. Like, yeah, I don't quite understand like what goes into the thought process of Derek Carr. Was it?
Derek Carr has a Waco situation going on. You're gonna start to see all of the white players on the Raiders with guy liner on now. It's like part of the Derek Carr cult.
That's amazing. That is amazing, dude. First, this went from like you can't get into this type of conversation without sounding like I don't know, a racist. I don't know. Like, there's nothing you could say. I can't be like, well, he's a gangbanger. Like, he's not, obviously. But like, what goes on in your mind to do something like this? You know the power of social media. So why are you going through this process? Why did you decide to take your phone, right, and click go live or record or whatever, right, and do what you do?
Like,
and like, yo, look at all, look at all my guns. Like, why?
Like, I'm gonna kill you.
Either cocaine's a hell of a drug or something else. Like, what are we doing? Like, it's I don't know, man. It's very alarming, and it's all happening in Las Vegas, which is nuts. I mean, it's not nuts considering it's Sin City, right? People are out there. Of all the places in the world for Derek Carr to go play quarterback, they're like, hey, we're gonna take you out of out of Oakland and move you to Las Vegas. I'm sure nothing will go wrong, so you'll be fine. And he's like, you know what? It's funny. I love Las Vegas. Las Vegas is in my heart. I love Las
desert.
Vegas.
He's like, I've been in love with the desert. He's like, and then Jesus walked through the desert, and I don't even know where I'm going with this, but Derek Carr will be marrying people at a local past. What do we call those things where people get married? A chapel in Vegas on the Strip. Derek Carr.
Imagine? No, Derek Carr. Derek Carr is questionable for today's star. Why is that? Well, the Smith wedding ran a little late at the chapel, so he's stuck in traffic right on the Strip. Like, this is like, oh my God, poor Derek Carr, because he's a really good dude. He really is, and his brother sucked. I just throw that in there because he beat the Cowboys in his first start. But yeah, it's a shitty situation out there in Vegas. I don't know how it gets resolved. I don't know when it stops. I don't know. It has to come from the top. And when you look at the top, dude, like, look at that owner. He also looks like he's one French fry short of a Happy Meal. You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
Like, come on. Las Vegas is imploding. The city, the state of Nevada is just, it's ruined right now by the Raiders. The Raiders came in and ruined it, and we thought Vegas was already ruined as a whole. The Raiders have come in and just destroyed this place, and
they're somehow still like in firm position to make the playoffs in the AFC. That's how bad the AFC is right now, right?
The AFC Championship game in Las Vegas, like the place. I can't even remotely think about that place being able to handle that. Like,
Well, there's gonna be several Super Bowls in Vegas. They didn't build that stadium for no reason. So expect there to be fireworks in Super Bowl week whenever that comes. Where's the Super Bowl this year?
LA.
Oh,
SoFi.
okay.
SoFi Stadium. Dallas Cowboys will be playing. I don't know. We'll figure it out, but Cowboys will be playing in the game itself. But anyway, this podcast
That'll be your
is
first tough game of the season, probably. Actually, no, you're not
Funny.
getting through us in the NFC. But
yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see about that. We'll see if your immunized quarterback wants to return to the field anytime soon. Because if not, the Packers season.
We will announce that. We will announce that fact where LaFleur came out yesterday and said that it doesn't matter if it's Sunday morning at 12:59. If Aaron Rodgers gets cleared, he's playing. So no need for practice if he.
Well, we
if
said
he's
that
able to
yesterday.
play.
Like of all quarterbacks in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers is probably the guy that says, like, yeah, I don't really need the reps. Like, and he doesn't. He can probably go out there and have himself a day. And that game in specific, we'll talk more about it on Friday when we make our picks. But Mr. Unlimited is back. So the Russell Wilson has been cleared to play. So that game's going to be really good. I'm still waiting to hear about Chris Carson because I know we're not doing waiver pickups, but I'm in trouble this week. I don't know about you, but I need a running back in the worst way, especially in the chop league. I'm starting guys like Madison and McNichols.
McNichols is.
He got passed up already. It's unbelievable. He got passed up on the depth chart already by 15 other guys. But yeah, the waiver wire additions will not be documented today.
Bro, it was very light, and I'm not going to sit here and just put down garbage content because we're supposed to be doing it. The understanding that, look, if you're in week 10 of a fantasy football season and you really are coming to me for your waiver wire advice, just text me. You know what I mean? Like if you're just reach out. I'll give you a situation based on what your actual team is like, and I'll help you out. But as far as just giving some
free
random
advice,
advice.
Yeah, free advice. James Conner, if available. He's not available. He's not available. So, like, I don't care if he scores 15 times. It doesn't matter. He's not available in any leagues. And if he is, you're in the wrong league. And I tell my brother that a lot because he's in a second league. He only runs 2 leagues at a time. Mine and he calls it the Cousins League. It's his in-laws, right? And I just feel like I think the first year prize was like a pizza party or something like that. Like you had to get pizza bought for you, and I always called it the Pizza League after that. Oh, look at that. Breaking news. The Nets lost. Nobody cares.
Dave, just to give you a heads up, maybe Jordan Howard. He's available in like
I'm playing a team. I'm playing my brother-in-law this week who is starting both Jordan Howard and the other guy. Who's the other?
Gainwell?
Both Eagles. Whoever the Eagles are. Whatever. But in any event, it'll be interesting. I gotta win. What's your best record right now before we close?
4-5.
That's your best record of all your leagues?
Best.
Gooch, they're gonna stop listening to you, brother. So somebody said Falcons by 10. 16-team league, nobody's available. That's very accurate. Falcons by 10. You're delusional. Just so you know, all you Cowboy fans out there that are listening to the sound of my voice, oh shit, that's on me, Scoop. I should be 9-0, but I started Herbert instead of Montgomery. I said it's time for him to start Herbert, and I guess he lost because of me.
Honestly, it's probably also because of me, because if he texted me about it and I just didn't answer him. So,
Antonio Gibson, according to the prop beaver, AJ Bascone, Antonio Gibson really rocked me in Gucci's fantasy season. That's very true. My brother's been trying to trade him for 6 weeks now. Nobody's biting. So anyway, tomorrow we will get more into everything that goes down tonight. It is Wednesday coming up. We'll figure something out as far as sports are concerned. There's a lot of sports on the local market. We're gonna find out where OBJ goes. So we're gonna find out if he's a Seattle Seahawk or if he's a Texan or whatever the case may be. We will find out where Odell Beckham Jr. Ranks as far as where he's going to play. I mean, it's a big deal. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. Of course, go support the network. Go subscribe to all the podcasts that are live right now. Today, a brand new Squeaky Bum Time. So if you're a soccer fan, get out there and listen to those guys. Jimmy Palumbo's new show, Getting Involved. That's what it should be called all the time. The Jimmy Palumbo Show, Getting Involved. I don't know. Getting Involved with the Jimmy Palumbo Show. Anyway, go download that. He's available. The lipstick in that color. I think they're talking about your hoodie. It's called Nude, I think.
It's called Nipple. It's nipple pink.
So go support the network. We got the Jets coming on later on today. They'll be recording and released tomorrow. And of course, all about the Star. I'm actually sitting down with a writer from Atlanta. So I'll be talking to that individual about the Falcons Cowboys game coming up. That'll be dropped tomorrow. So Jimmy, keep waiting because I know it's you at this point still. No, actually, you know what? That's a laughing emoji. There's no way he wrote
there's no
that.
way.
There's no way. So
Fish Memorial today. I will go live and post the Fish Memorial. I'll make a nice overlay for
Scoop
baby.
is saying I'll be there Thursday at 6. So Gooch, prepare for a late night. For his like just the soul got sucked out of Gooch right now. He's like, I'm not staying.
No, I knew he was coming on Thursday at 6, but I'm just gonna Thursday at 6. Scoop, be right. Bring your notebook because I'm gonna give you a full on class on how to run this studio without me for next Thursday at 6.
And also, because we're keep adding podcasts to this network, there is I'll talk to Gooch off air as soon as this is done, but there will be a new podcast coming on. They already have a show, much like Squeaky Bum Time, how they came on. They already had a show. We inherited them. We're inheriting a new show, and I think it's going to be really cool for the network. I think what?
Also, Thanksgiving weekend, Jimmy Palumbo has a comedy show at Carteret Performing Arts Center that I think that we should show out for. And anybody that's listening, if you want the inside scoop on tickets, there is no discounts, but you could at least get a handshake from Jimmy backstage, maybe, right? We'll post the number on the socials when we get a chance. And Dave, we have a commercial, which we'll talk about afterwards, that we're going to start sending out to our other podcasters so we could get the Jimmy Palumbo comedy special in Carteret, New Jersey for all the Chop Sports family.
That just so happens to land on the next Wrestle Pro show being streamed live on Fight TV. So therefore, I will not be getting involved with Jimmy Palumbo, but I do encourage everybody to see this guy totally choke on stage. No, Jimmy is one of the funniest dudes.
No,
I
think that the Central Jersey, Jimmy Palumbo is going to show out. We're going to take over that little arena or whatever we want to call it. But Chop Sports got to represent for
absolutely,
sure.
Absolutely. All the Palumbos will be there. All the people wearing their red T-shirts. Everybody wearing Chop Sports merchandise. Get out there and go support Jimmy Palumbo. I'm listen. We may rag on each other all the time, and he may be doing this Jets shtick until the day he dies. But I will say, Jimmy Palumbo was one of the first calls that called me after my son was born. So, Jimmy, you're forever in my heart, my man. And, of course, one more thing before I forget, because I am a self-promoter after all, I will be busy next Tuesday afternoon as I got a call back this morning, my friends. So now Chop Sports is 3-0 when it comes to auditions and callbacks, as Jimmy's gotten 2, and now I have gotten 1. I'm going to be going to audition for the PA announcer for the Somerset Patriots, the AA affiliate of the New York Yankees. So I'm very excited about that. Will it turn into a job? Who knows? I mean, I'm not in a position right now where I need it. You know what I mean? Like, Chop Sports is where it's at. But if I can go chill in a booth at 7:00 on a Tuesday night
with Daniel Brenneman front and center,
the Danimal in the house, and of
no
course,
doubt about it, he'll be at your first game, Dave.
Oh, absolutely. No, 100%. Actually, you know what? That could be another Chop Sports event. My first game, if I get this gig, I want everybody in the Somerset Patriots Stadium, and I want you all cheering for the PA announcer, not the game itself, the PA announcer. So, look, this is how legends are made, folks. Bob Shepard, come on. Like, let's go. Chris on this shit.
Bro, I would sell the shit out of some fucking fish. I'd be like, bro, you put this shit on your counter, throw a little fucking bikini bottom scene in that shit.
Can you help me here? I'm trying to determine what kind of fish this is. Well, I'll tell you right now, if you put it on the counter, it's a counterfish.
and they say 2 years, but I'm talking like I got this motherfucker to live 5 strong, bro. All you got to do is to drop 6 flakes of Petra in that bowl every day. Yeah, man. But what name a fish that you know that died of old age? Right? The lifespan on those fish. Jimmy told me he had one for 6 months and it died. I had this. Come on, bro. We long prosperous life for baby.
Huge counterfish sale. Long live baby the fish, which by the way, I did a nice little tribute. It is baby counterfish Gucci is the full, and it's on the death certificate. So RIP to the fish, RIP to this episode. We will see you guys tomorrow for Sturch and Gooch, and of course, all the sponsors and everybody supporting Chop Sports. We want to thank you guys. Subscribe to the network, follow us on social media. We're like 13 away or 12 away from 1,000 followers on Instagram. I know Instagram is, you look at some of these accounts and they got like 80 million followers and they're like, we haven't paid for anything. You know what I'm saying? We haven't paid for a goddamn thing.
Oh, we do. So I'm going to call us out on this because we made a post that I did delete because I was like, well, fuck this. I'm not giving out any $100 in 4 months, but we had a giveaway and then we just stopped doing Instagram. Right. So we had a giveaway and we didn't have any new followers for like 6 weeks, maybe even more. Since the giveaway. It was like once we offered $100, everyone was like, fuck Chop Sports Instagram, and they just stopped. But now we're about to be there. So
we're almost there. Later. So that 1,000th follower, whoever you are, I will personally give you a gift. How about that? There's going to be a giveaway to the 1,000th follower. And you know what? If you come as a referral from somebody, like, how'd you hear about us? And you say somebody else's name, they can get it on in the gift too. So it's a referral.
I'll give you a free download of our podcast.
There you go.
I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link.
The gift that keeps on giving. I'm gonna go follow again. Thanks for
a free subscription.
All right, guys. So for Sturch and Gooch, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh, wait, before we go, there's another comment. Gonna start making burner accounts. Scott Simmons, do that for me, bro. If at the end of the day there's like a bunch of like Simmons and then like Scott and then like you use your wife's name, like, oh, her too.
It's like what happens. It's like what happens when I post on Chopheads MMA. It's like seven likes and it's Dave, Health and Fitness Professionals, Dave Sturch Show, Chop Sports Sturch, Chop Sports, me, Ashley, and Jimmy. And then Ashmere Fifth. So it's
you're forgetting the Jersey Boys podcast.
I'm off to a great start. 2 days later, I'm at 13 likes total. It's like two
I'll
more.
Activate my account.
And it's like
well, you have to find out.
you get my hoodie.
Right off his back, ladies and gentlemen.
Nipple pink, baby. Money. Nipple pink.
Just, you know what?
It comes with pit stains.
Oh, perfect.
As does everything I wear.
It's game worn. It's podcast worn hoodie. You get that hoodie. Wait, Chris is wearing a hoodie. Dude, all right. This has gone on long enough. First Sturch and Coach. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Also, Chris